Hey everybody, this is Jay, the Renaissance Daddy. This is episode number 7, and we're going to talk about some stuff that maybe you're wondering, and that is dating. And how do we go about dating? I don't know if you've noticed, right? Dating has changed dramatically. Like 20 some odd years ago, when you go to to the club, I guess, or you go to an event and you meet somebody, or you meet them at work, or whatever the case may be. Well, today's world, beyond coronavirus and COVID, because that makes it even more difficult, they have all of the apps. You got your Tinders and your Matches and your eHarmonies and your whatever, right? And it's as quickly as just, let's grab a phone, right? Let's grab a phone and let's just swipe. And let's swipe and let's see what's interesting to us, right? Kind of like you're going to go to a buffet, I guess. I don't know. And then you read the descriptions, right? Everybody's, so, as they say, woke, right? Everybody's so enlightened. Everybody's a world traveler, which I'm gonna tell you right now, as a guy who used to travel a lot, I haven't seen if everybody who's on these dating apps travels, the planes would be full, and they travel the world, and they want to do this and they want to do that, and they just, I don't know. It just strikes me to be kind of fake, putting on a mask. Maybe it's not. Maybe they really are. But I'm starting to think, if you were that amazing, why? I just don't get it. It doesn't make, it's incongruent, basically, right? It doesn't make sense. If you were that amazing, maybe it's because you choose not, you choose to be single, and that's a different story. But I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And then the other thing I want to caution, you dads out there, that some of these websites, it's not so much, there's a lot of them out there that are looking for sugar daddies. That's right. And you ask, what is a sugar daddy? And in today's defined world, it's you give them money, and they will either talk to you, or there's any different levels of it, right? Obviously you got the ones where they'll actually go on a date with you, kind of a thing. And then you have the other ones, which is they just talk nice to you, or they'll text you, or whatever. I think that's the stupidest thing ever. It's essentially non-sexual prostitution. Just give them money. And and I kind of pondered this a little bit, there's no commitment. They get what they want, you get what you want. I don't know. It's just a lot of drama. And not my thing, not my cup of tea, so to speak. The dating apps really aren't mine either. It's kind of funny. My daughter was because I told her straight up, look, if it ever comes up, I want you to be very well aware. Your dad put himself on a couple dating apps, and I'm just seeing what's in the world. And I'm being absolutely true, right? I don't know. It's out there. It's been 20 some odd years. I don't know. And I want to see how I feel about it. How do I feel about it? How do you feel about it? Maybe it's in my area, but I'm content. Let's just say that. Because of either the ones that I do find attractive, or I do think hey, maybe I want to date. They sometimes wouldn't want to date me, or they may be, when I say too young, I'm not going to try and say that I'm some pedophile. When 6-7 years younger than me, and that's a lot. Or 10 years younger than me, whatever, right? That's a lot. So it is what it is, right? And then those ladies, or they want kids, or they may want kids. I'm kind of done. And then you have the other past baggages and the relationships that they've had, and are they burned? Are they scorned? Are you scorned? Are you ready? And I went through and I did a lot of research, right? Because I was going to do this podcast, right? And I was going to go in there and I was going to say, here's how it is. And I was going to try to mix funny. And I had a whole plan. And because it was real, like, am I being normal? Because my ex now is dating. And it's personally, I'm okay with that. Like, whatever, right? Sorry to the next guy. But the other side of that, right? And because I do want her happy and I do want her whole, because at the end of the day, if she's happy and she's whole, then she's good for my daughter and she's good for my son. And that's what I want, right? And I don't want her to hurt. I don't want her to suffer. I don't want anybody to hurt or suffer. There's too much of that in the world as it is. But I also don't want to see my kids cry. I don't want to see my kids suffer because, less than a year ago, this time last year, we were getting ready to have Thanksgiving dinner as a family. All 4 of us. And now, Dad's in his place, Mom's in her place, Mom's off in another city with another man. Like, that's a lot to take in. I'm not going to espouse to be like an angel, because I did my own things when I was younger, and her and I did some things that maybe we shouldn't have. I so own those things. But we're older now. We know the ramifications. These kids are older. They have eyes. And they're not as little as they used to be. They have opinions. And some of them are pretty valid. So I wonder sometimes, like, I think I'm doing the right thing for me, right? Because I've said before, like, I got to work out some things, because, I'm a type A personality. I don't like to fail. I don't like to make mistakes. I don't like to be that person that does those things, right? But so I have to fix. I got to fix me. Because, that the adage goes, if you want to change the world, change you. Right? You can go out there and scream into the storm all you want trying to change the world, and it's not going to do anything. Right? But if you change you, you'll change your family will change your neighbors will change your block to your city to your state to your country to the world. A ripple. And so I have to change me. I can't change her. But, I sit and I wonder, like, is it good? Is it good for the kids? Do I say anything to them? Do I say anything to her? Like, hey, like, they're not talking to you, but they're crying a lot. They're hurting a lot. This is bothering them a lot. Do I say it? Do I not say it? I don't know. I know that my instincts are to protect my kids. So how do I do that? Legitimately, if you know, email me, renaissancedaddy22@gmail.com. I'd love to know. I don't know how to. I want them to be in a good relationship with their mom. I want them to have a good relationship with me. I want them to be happy. I want them all to be whole. I want them. And it's hard to want somebody to be happy and whole when you're walking on a sheet of ice that used to be a lake, and you're just waiting for something to fall through, or you're trying to make sure that nothing falls through, no one falls through. You're doing all you can to tread water, and you're holding on to everybody, and you're trying to not drown yourself. Because as happy and whole as I'm trying to be, and I'm getting there daily, there are days where it's hard. It's hard for me. Literally 2 days ago, I don't know what it was. I heard a song, something, and my entire day was just this. I was a sad sack. Just, So it's hard. So, do you date? Do you not date? I don't know. I know there's some psychotherapists, psychologists, right? There's one, and I'll leave some of the references in the description that say that you should wait 2 years. I know. Hold on to that one. 2 years, right? Because of the way that your children will process a new individual in their life. Now, let me put some little earmarks or caveats, right? The idea is if you're seeing somebody and you're dating them, and then you dump them, and you date another one and you dump them, and you date another one and you dump them, and you continually bring these people into their lives, they in turn will eventually have intimacy problems later in their life, the children, that is. Yeah, I know. I was reading that going, whoa, well, there's nobody here, you know? But now on the other side of that, like if you have somebody and that individual stays in their life and is a consistent basis, then there's not as much of an intimacy thing or an issue with that. But no matter who the child is, it's a very difficult situation. I remember growing, when my mom and biological donor dude like got divorced or whatever, and he was a bad dude. Like he was a really bad dude. And I seemed to forget that as a kid. All I knew was this person was in my life now trying to be my dad or trying to tell me what to do. Like I was like, who the heck are you, man? And he was, I swear to God, he was like bending over backwards to be nice. And even at that age, I knew he was, right? And I don't know what it was, but something got in my butt one day, and I just like, you ain't my dad. And he said, I know I'm not your dad. And my mom unleashed on me, and, it took some time. When I was with my son and we first got together, the same thing. And he was 3. A good year. I mean, he and I did not click. Now we're best of friends, right? We're buds. It's my boy. Same thing with my dad. Right? It just happens. Now, the other side of that is the negative part of it. Do you jump in too early? Right? You have to make sure that you prioritize your children's happiness over your own. Okay? What happened in the past, in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s and the 60s, that doesn't matter anymore. Okay? We know better. I had to put a note on. I have a whiteboard. Yeah, I know I'm a dude, and I got a whiteboard up in my house, but I do, and it keeps my train on track. But one of my things for this next week is be better, do better, because you know better, and that goes on so many different levels, right? I know what to do. I know how to eat. I know I need to go to the gym. I need to know. There's things that I need to do in my life, right? Do better. Be better, because you know better. So do we date? I don't think so. I personally don't. You don't get in a relationship for 12, 13, 14 years, 15 years, whatever the case may be, get out of it, and then start testing out, learning new dating, whatever, learning about yourself by dating like 15 other people or 3 or 4 other people. Like, no, you don't go on romantic vacations or outings letting your kids like open up about, you know what I mean? Like, that's to me is the most selfish thing in the world. And as much as I want my ex to be happy and whole, part of me upsets me. It upsets me to no end, because I know personally it's hurting those kids. And, one of them's like, whatever. And the other one's like, I'll be fine. I'm going to call bull on that one. It just breaks my heart, because I know that they're good kids. And I know that they deserve to be happy. They didn't choose this divorce. Hell, they didn't even choose this marriage. Right? They're just trying to survive. They're just trying to make it through some of the most difficult years of their lives. And you got to think, as a parent, right? When you were in junior high, you're dealing with your body. You're dealing with the different friendships and human dynamics and communication and all in schools and the different, I got one in junior high and one in high school. That's a difficult time. You're trying to find your own, get your legs under you. I got one who's two or 3 years from graduating high school, and he's going to be out in the world and trying to be a man. Got another one who's in junior high trying to learn how to be a young lady and a woman. And then and yet we're going to be doing some bull crap like this. Like, come on. Like, I get it. Like, trust me, I do. Like, ooh boy, would I personally love, like, just to feel the touch or the intimacy of another individual? You're dang right. Do I find women attractive? Yep. And I'm open and honest about that with my kids, my daughter, my son. Matter of fact, today we went to the grocery store and this lady got out of this truck and I was like dumbfounded, like, whoa, she was cute. And granted, you could tell it kind of bothered my daughter, but on the other hand, I think she could accept the fact that, one, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go ask the lady out. And two, I'm open with her. I'm not lying to her. I'm not trying to tell her, it's just daddy's friend. It's just a friend. I'm just trying things out. It's just a friend. I'm gonna call bullshit. All right, did it again. Ooh. I'll edit that one out again. Sorry. Because like, they're smart. Everybody thinks their kids are smart, but my kids are dang smart. That's stupid. And the more that you act like they're stupid, that's when it becomes offensive. That's when it becomes upsetting and enraging, right? And I tell them, tell them, if you have kids, listen to your kids, validate their opinions. I've been saying that from the very first podcast all the way through. That's an important key piece. Validate their opinions, their feelings. They have them. They have no control. This happened to them without their say. And all they can do is lash out, right? All they can do is like swing into the wind, swing into the storm, so to speak, and just try to find a way through. They're just trying not to drown in sadness, in depression, in anger, in rage, right? They just want their family back. And even if it was dysfunctional, they want it back. I understand it, right? I told you, my dad, my biological dude, was a bad man. He did some bad crap. Physically abused me and my family, mentally abusive, sexually abusive, all of the things you could possibly think of. And yet, this guy comes in, and he's nicer than nice, right? And he treats my mom really well, treats me really well, and is doing his best. He is absolutely doing his best. And as a kid, you're like, F that, right? Like, I want my family back. As effed up as it is, as dysfunctional as it is, I want that back. But then if you really take some perspective and you stand back, you look at it and go, yeah, no, that's not good. That's not good. And as a parent, we have to be intelligent enough to have that perspective, to step back and say, well, I can sacrifice myself. I'm telling you right now, there are parents out there that I've heard that say, I've sacrificed myself so long and I don't want to sacrifice myself anymore. I'm like, you still got, freaking kids that are under the age of 18. You better suck that crap up now. Because that's, once again, bullcrap. It is. I mean, come on. We got a responsibility. All right? Maybe you didn't choose to have kids. Maybe it was an accidental thing. I don't believe in accidental, but unintentional, I think, is a better term. But that's the key, is knowing when. And I've learned, right? I'm sitting there and I'm flashing around or thrashing around going, when am I ready? When am I ready? When am I ready? And I'm watching her do this like thing, and break the trust of our kids because things that have been said, and I'm learning from it going, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I've already wasn't going to, right? I already believe in being completely and totally honest, even to the detriment of myself, right? That's just a key tenet of who I am as an individual. Just be honest. No matter what, be honest. And when you really get into that piece of it, you start to really, 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 really identify that there's more. There's so much more that you have to think of more than yourself, right? So let's just go down the road of, okay, it's been a couple years, a year or so, whatever, year and a half, right? The pain or the sting of mommy, daddy, brothers and sisters sitting around a table is a distant memory, right? You don't have at least a 1-year anniversary. I'm going to say this is my advice, okay? The doctors say more, but I'm going to say at a minimum, right? The last memory of that date 1 year prior shouldn't have been you all together, right? Like November 2019, we sat together as a family. We came up on Thanksgiving together. Yeah, there was dysfunction, and we were in the process of figuring out whether we were going to stay together or not stay together, and all of the different things. But we were together in the same house. There wasn't a mommy's house. There wasn't a daddy's house. Okay, so this Thanksgiving's coming up, right? Now what do we got? We got 2 houses. Whose house do I go to? When do I go? Is it going to be different? Who's going to be this and that? And yeah, we got to teach our kids to be dynamic, but come on, come on now. Let's be realistic. Okay. Let them get normal. Let them get their feet under them. I learned that early on. I should never have done certain things. Right? And so I love it when I say this and certain people go, well, this didn't happen before. You're right. There's a lot of things I haven't done before. But that's the magic of learning. Make a mistake, learn, move on. Make a mistake, learn, move on. Right? It's not rocket science, y'all. Make a mistake, learn, move on. So at least a year. And coming up on February 1st will be the first time that we weren't really living under the same roof. And so from that point forward, the next previous memory, so February 2nd, 2021, if you go back a year, February 2nd, 2020, it isn't a memory of us 4 together, right? And it becomes a distant memory. Well, that's gone. We don't want to forget it, but it is a distant. Right? The sting is not as rough, right? Because now we have a year of memories made for just you and the other individual, the children. It doesn't commingle. It doesn't get all mixed up in like a big, huge, like spaghetti mess. Right? So let's say that you've passed the year mark, right? How do you know, right? So the first thing you got to understand is when you do start dating, right? They always say, set your emotional boundaries. We talked about that in the last podcast, emotional boundaries, right? Communication, taking responsibility for your actions, choose the battles in which you want to fight, and uphold integrity of your boundaries. That's a big one. I really had a conversation with my daughter about that this week, even about emotional boundaries, right? Like, don't take on everybody else's emotions. Fight for what you believe in. Fight for your emotional boundaries and fight for that. Own it, right? Right? And then recognize when it's time to seek help. So there's some things that they say that I find to be interesting, right? Boundaries do not hinder the growth of a relationship. Instead, they help establish a mutual respect between 2 individuals in that relationship. That doesn't say dating relationship. That just says a relationship, right? It could be mom, dad, son, daughter, you and them, whatever, right? It's a relationship. It could be your coworker. Whatever it is, a relationship. Doesn't matter what the dynamic is. That didn't say romantic relationship. It just is a relationship. That was a really good phrase, and I'll leave it. Like I said, all the references are in here in the description. I'm not trying to take credit for somebody else's wonderful work, right? But that's some good stuff, though. Like, so, okay, we've identified. A year's gone by. And this is what I thought about. Like, okay, or years gone by. I'm completely honest with my kids. Like, look, I've been on the dating app. You can find me on a dating app. Totally honest. It's actually funny is that I was so totally honest with it, right? Like, hey, just so you know, I mean, not that my kids are going to be on a dating app. Just so you know, I put myself on a dating app, and then just to see what's out there. I'm going to be completely open and honest with you right now. I'm not dating anybody. I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not talking to anybody. But I just wanted to see what was in the world, right? Kind of put my toe in the water. But I let them know. So this goes on, and whatever, months and months and months or whatever. And then it's confronted. My kids apparently got in this argument, confront my ex about it. And my ex was like, well, your dad is on it. And I think it was funny, right? Because my kids looked and go, or my daughters, and they're like, yeah, I know, he told us. Right? Like, that's exactly why. I'm not hiding anything. I have gained her trust. I have gained his trust. So, as a lesson to you, don't do anything to betray that trust. They're already broken. They're already walking on cracked ice. Okay? Be straight with them. Be open with them. Be honest with them. Just be that way. I can't take any more. So when I do that, when I say those things, right, you got to think about, there's like, I don't know, I think it's like 13 different things, right? And they say, like, choose wisely and all that kind of stuff. So when you do those things, you got to think about that at 40, let's just say, right? The rate of divorce has decreased a lot. From 2008 to 2018, I think it's like 18% roughly in that range that has decreased, right? And the reason they say is that individuals are waiting longer to get married. So when they do wait to get longer, there's more intercommunication, or there's more communication, there's more building relationship, and you really know that this is the person you want to marry when you do marry them, right? It's not like I'm not doing a checklist of things I need to get married. And so they stay together and they're less divorce. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Maybe less people are getting married. Bottom line is there's a lot of late 30, 40 somethings that have never been married and who aren't scarred and burned and jaded or whatever, okay? Maybe they were working on them. And that's okay. Okay? It's okay. Make sure that this is what we've been talking about, right? I've been talking about me. Make sure that you're emotionally available. I'm not. I know that I'm not. I'm still working on me. I don't want the drama. I don't. Like, even if I'm good, like right now, I got so much peace. It's like nice. I do what I want, I say what I want, I go where I want. My daughter have a great time. I could be a goofball in Target and, ride on a grocery cart like Superman if I wanted to. And I don't have anybody giving me crap about it. Right? And all of you there. And granted, is there somebody out there that probably would, not be, probably, I don't know. But right now, I'm still not ready to even look at that. Because why? Still scarred, still burned. I'm not emotionally available. My children are not even emotionally able to deal with dad dating somebody else. Right? And as a dad to a girl, I got to make sure that I'm good. Because she's going to eventually marry a man that's psychologically that will resemble my behaviors. So I got to be good. Because I don't want some jackwad taking advantage of my daughter. So I got to be good. So I got to be good. Emotionally available. They have to be emotionally available. It's important. It's a big deal, right? Most of us, think that, okay, well, it's okay. And, okay, so they're emotionally available, but they got kids. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. But you also have to understand it's crucial to prioritize your kids' emotions, like I've said it before, over your own. I would love, let me just underline that one, to have a close, intimate conversation And I say intimate, I'm not talking about sex. Okay, I'm just talking about just an adult conversation with somebody who is possibly not a friend. You know, a hug, right? An embrace, a look, a glance, whatever, right? I'd love it. But my kids are more important right now. So I got to prioritize their emotional needs right now, right? They need time to adjust. Like I said, it can take up to 2 years. 2 years for them to deal with that. To deal with their sadness and to deal with their anger. And that comes from, and I'll leave it again in the description, Dr. Fran Wallfish of the Beverly Hills Psychotherapy Center. She said it's 2 years. You know? Talk to them. Right? Don't expect it. Okay, here's two sides of this same coin. I have kids, okay? You're not going to meet my kids for a long time. Conversely, I expect not to meet your kids for a long time, okay? If we date, whenever I do date, and it's like second week, third week, come meet my kids, I'm sorry, check please, red flag for me. Okay? Huge. Encourage them. Encourage your kids to share their feelings, all the feelings. Listen to them. Validate those feelings, right? Right? And then if you introduce your kids to somebody, make sure they are of substance and they will be in your life. Casually dating an individual. Oh, I was dating this guy and I was dating this guy and I'm dating this guy, or I'm dating this woman and this woman and this woman and this woman. You're just teaching your kids bad. They're going to have problems with intimacy later in life. Okay? The other thing I learned was not to have sex too soon, obviously. That goes without saying. You have to identify your, in my opinion, like this is, like I said, research that I've done, because I've done a lot of it. Because I'm like, when am I the right time? Like I told you. But you got to understand, like, not, you know, sex messes things up. You know that by 40, but I'm telling you anyway. By late 30s, you know that. 50s, you sure as heck know that. Okay? But then on top of everything else, you got to look at you have to know what your red flags are. And that's the other thing I was explaining to my kids. Like, I have to understand, what I want and what I don't want. And that's more defined as the things I do want and then the red flags. Because obviously I've been through 2 marriages. I'm driving the Autobahn of relationships at this point. Like, red flag, screw it. Red flag, screw it. I keep going. Okay? So I definitely need to, I'm pumping the brakes going, I need to find these red flags that I keep missing because I don't want to do this again. I would rather be single to the day that I die than go through this again. I don't want it. I don't want to be knocked to my knees anymore, but in my heart and betrayed and all the things that have happened. I don't want that. So I'm going to take a knee and say, let's identify these red flags. And you need to do the same. Identify those red flags. Big time. Big time. And categorize them if you need to. Because there's some things that kind of could deal with it. Because I guarantee you there's red flags in me. And they're light red flags. And then there's some big red flags. But know them, communicate them. You know, the good thing about somebody who's in the late 30s and 40s is they should be independent. They should have their own car, house, apartment, basically set. Maybe they don't have a house, right? Maybe they're renting a house or whatever. That's fine. I'm just saying they're on their own. They pay their own bills. If they're 40-something, late 30-something, and they're with mom, I love you, mom, but I ain't moving back in with you. Okay? Yeah, check please. That's a huge red flag. Huge. Something's broken up in her. Not here, but I'm just saying if they are. I'm pointing at myself, by the way. People on YouTube can see me, and podcasts are going, what is he talking about? Who's he pointing at? What's he saying? Sorry. You got to learn to kind of discern between what you can see and what you can hear. Right? Yeah, they're 40-something, and they're at home with mom or dad, and it's not their house. Like, I mean, they're fine. I'm 40-something, and I have a house, and my mom lives with me, and it's my house because of whatever. She needs assistance or help, or she's older or whatever. That's one thing. I'm 40-something, and I'm living with mom, and mom's paying her mortgage and her, electricity or whatever, and I'm kicking in to help. Big red flag. Big red flag. Okay? Huge red flag. And you can look at it different ways, right? And you can say, like, because here's the thing, like, I'm not saying buy a house, okay? I'm saying, like, rent, have bills, have a car payment. It's not like, be independent, stand on their own. Like, because here's an example, like, I know my dad, right, was taken to the cleaners. When I say my dad, my stepdad, right, taken to the cleaners. Okay, he didn't have a pot to piss in, right? He still rented a house, and he still, was an independent, upstanding person, right? That's different, okay? He was still an independent person. And then we came to Florida, and he eventually, we lived with my grandmother for a little bit as we, got situated, and that was a whole different dynamic of the whole entire situation. What I'm saying is, you're dating a dude, and he's like living at home with mom, or you're dating a girl, and she's back at home, and she's 40-something, like, that's a red flag for me. Maybe it's not for you, but it is for me. But make sure that they're independent, okay? I don't want to belabor that anymore, but just make sure that that is there, right? Trust your instincts, bottom line, and make sure that you have a clear agenda of the expectations of what you want in this relationship or that relationship. It's important. Like, what do you, like, for me, right? Like I just said before earlier on, like, kids, nah, I'm good. My daughter's already said, like, no more kids, Dad. Put her foot down. No more kids, Daddy. Okay, fine. I mean, I love kids, but she's like, no more kids. Okay? If they have kids, is that okay? If they don't have kids, is that okay? They have to love your kids, I'm assuming. Right? I mean, they have to love kids overall. Right? And vice versa. Don't go into their lives and come back. I mean, whatever your rules are, your agenda. This is my agenda. I'm here to hook up. I'm here to date. I'm here to find another person and grow old with, whatever. Make sure your agenda is clear. There's no ambiguity for you as a man or her as a woman. Make sure it's clear as a bell that they know. Make sure those red flags are out there. Make sure that they understand. And here's the other thing. And I've seen this. Like, okay, so like I've done the whole dating, the dating app thing. I haven't really talked to anybody, but I did this other thing called TikTok. And it's essentially like the modern dating app, I think, right? Is you go out there, you sing against a song, or you talk, and you get people following you, or whatever the case may be, and that's cool, right? Like, I get it. That's actually kind of better than the dating app, because you kind of get a better sense of, people's humor or what they believe in or whatever, right? You just listen to them. It's kind of like a precursor to a podcast, right? Or a YouTube channel. And I get it, but I've seen this where, like, when my daughter's here, she's my priority. And I have people like, just, where you been? Where you going? How bad? Why? Where you been? Where you going? Oh my God. What? Tell me, and I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes, y'all. Like, if you're going on a date and they have to reschedule, moms, dads, whatever, like, because of an emergency with their kids, you got to freaking understand that. And if they like, oh, my kid broke his arm, but he'll be fine. Let's go to dinner anyway. Red flag. Just give them a break. Okay? Don't take it personally. Oops. Don't take it so dang personally. You know, like, life happens, especially if you got kids. Like, this, it happens. We're older. We're not 20-something, okay? It's not going to be like, we're going to stay out till 3 in the morning and drink until we puke, and then I'll just skip my first few classes in college, or I don't have to work, come on. We're 40, we're 30, late 30s. It's different. You don't get your full, 8-9 hours of sleep sometimes. Things don't really work the way they should. You ache a little bit more. A little more gray. I don't know. So just be understanding. Okay? Never apologize for who you are. I don't care if this is dating. I don't care if this is regardless of what it is. Don't apologize. I did that a lot in my life. I apologized. I'm sorry. I don't communicate like you want me to communicate. I don't look like you want me to look. I don't sound like you want me to sound. I don't believe what you want me to believe. I'm sorry if I'm an embarrassment. I'm sorry. And I said it so much that my kids say that constantly. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm working to break that. Because that's... Oop, did it again. So, as I close out today, I want you to really sit down and think about it for yourself. If you're thinking of dating and you've been in a relationship, think about all of the angles. How does it affect you? How does it affect your kids? Are you emotionally available? Are they emotionally available? Are your kids okay with it? Like, give it at least a year. If you're jumping in the sack with somebody and your kids know that you're jumping in the sack with somebody and the body's still like warm, you got to get your stuff checked. Like, pump the brakes. I'm serious. Like, that's just crap. The other individual may not care. I know I don't care, but your kids sure as hell do. And I'm sorry to say that. It upsets me beyond belief, but your kids care. Your kids don't want that. So get your crap together. Do the right thing. You know better. Do better. Be better. This is the Renaissance Daddy, episode 7. This is talking about relationships and dating in your 40s, late 30s, and, in our different lives. So, as always, if you've loved what you've heard, click subscribe, leave a comment. You can follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Facebook. We're out there. All right. Send me some comments. And I'm going to say this little giveaway. I got 3 mugs with the logo that you see back there on the screen. For you that are on YouTube, and for you that are on the podcast, it's in the logo of the actual podcast. Got mugs for Renaissance Daddy, and I'm giving them away. If you can write to me, and the winner of the best idea for the next 2 or 3 podcasts will get one. I'll send it, ship it. Just send me your address and an idea, and whoever I choose will definitely. You'll get a Renaissance Daddy podcast. In a second, we'll get it's another kind of swag that we have here. It's in Renaissance Daddy. But as always, I appreciate it from the deepest the deepest depths of my soul. You taking a listen, and you listening and coming into my life and hearing my journey, and hopefully this journey is helping you. So as always, thanks again, and have a good one.